Ugh. I would not be surprised if this video got dislikes when I start to say this. I like Undertale. Yeah. Cancerous fan base, overrated, game is good, music is honestly fire. I've heard it over 1,000,000 times already. If you don't like the game all because of its fan base, what are you waiting for? There's the back button, there's the X button. Go on and take your leave if you don't like it, and shut the fuck up already if you don't have anything better to do than diss a game that you'll never play, all because of its huge popularity and that you're annoyed out of your wits by it. Okay, got that out of my system. True, the fanbase is not all that enjoyable for its alternate universes and original creations, but the things that I'll admit is good is the fan art, music remixes, vocals, fan lyrics, and even musicals. I like all of those equally because Undertale is very creative and had a lot of work built into it thanks to the mad genius himself, Toby Fox. Seriously, this person nearly developed this entire game by himself, as well as composing every soundtrack. If that is not considered awesome, then I don't know what is. I'll stop by simply saying that Undertale is a very great game and that it does not deserve hate at all. Just give it a chance already, come on. Or don't and continue hating on the fan base for no reason. Whatever works best for you. I don't care anymore. Anyway, it's already widely known that Undertale is known for its creativity, music, and an amazing story all in one that'll have no problem whatsoever to mess with your emotions in all sorts of ways. Undertale is one big feels trip depending on what path you take. You can either be a novice by thinking that killing your enemies in every encounter is the way to go, take the true pacifist route to free everyone from the underground and live happily ever after, or, if you have little to no mercy in your heart at all, go on full genocide and kill everyone and literally destroy your game. Jeez, this game has everything in it and it's almost scary. And speaking of scary, in the path of the true pacifist route, after hanging out with Papyrus, Undyne, and Alphys, you see a note on the ground in Alphys' lab saying, in short, if you want to know the truth, enter this elevator. Okay, let's go. Suddenly the elevator malfunctions and you crash down to the bottom floor. How you survive an elevator crash, I don't know. Determination or something. Here we are. You have arrived at the True Lab. And it's called True because this is where Alphys has been experimenting to help however she can to free everyone from the underground and cross the barrier as asked by Asgore. The truth is in this lab. She used other monsters' bodies that were close to dying as test subjects by injecting determination into them, which she extracted from the human souls contained by Asgore. Little did she know that that decision would make her life a living hell, because after she injected more determination into the bodies, their DNA fell apart and they began melting together. A mixed combination of other monsters you see in the game fused together into what's known as the Amalgamates. Most of these are pretty damn disturbing. There's the Reaper bird who has a giant eye that occasionally turns into a mouth, hangs there like a puppet, not to mention that its dialogue overlapped with others, as well as having a fucked up way of fighting him. Yeah, okay, this is nice. A guy having his face eaten by butterflies. That's a pretty sight. Oh look! Now the butterflies are flying off to attack you while the guy is walking like a zombie with his face still covered in said butterflies. Now he's shooting his heads at me. I think I've seen enough from you. Then there's Lemon Bread, an amalgamate with a disturbing face and speaks with multiple text boxes greeting you in an unnerving way. Yeah, I can see what you've gone through. It literally says it all over your face. Then there's Indogeny, a fusion of every dog character that has all of the characteristics and behavior that acts all curious and wants attention, much like the greater dog. The thing that disturbs me the most about this thing is that it has a hole in its face, silhouettes of cats underneath its legs that's actually a part of its body, which is really creepy to think about, and that eyes light up on them when you're about to spare it. And more importantly, the music, which has no track name in the game's OST, is nothing but continuous dog noises that gets faster and that Indogeny starts shaking in different magnitudes the more actions you take. I wouldn't want to have this thing as a pet. I'm more of a cat person anyway. A Gygus ripoff called Memory Head with little indication of what it is. How ironic. And the amalgamate above all that's the worst out of all of them is Snowdrake's mother. How's my mother doing? Is she alright? Oh, yeah. She's doing great. Yeah, she's hanging in there. Look at that smile. Smiles. See? She's happy. Still enjoying life to the fullest. And, she, keeps saying snowy. Don't worry, that's completely normal. Despite her being fused with 16 other monsters. Also, she's now a vegan. There's that too. Thanks for asking! In truth, however, this amalgamate is more sad and depressing than disturbing, honestly. I mean, just listen to this music. It's a slow, distorted version of Snowy, and the way she attacks you does absolutely nothing and is effortless to avoid. It's like she's given up on everything and wants to rest in peace. Her life is ruined because of the mistake that Alphys made. She just wanted everyone to be happy. She wanted everyone to be free, to cross the barrier. And her experiments resulted in the destruction of all the families that she has ruined, and they do not know about it. And so she enters a state of non-ending regret and isolates herself in her lab for so long, not caring about anything anymore. She messed up, and there's nothing she can do to fix it. And it's not just them. The golden flower that she picked from Asgore's garden became sentient and ran off after she injected determination into it. And that is really, really sad. Because little did she know that that flower had the dust of Azrael Dreamer immediately after he died. Asgore and Toriel's son. A cute little goat child with a very sweet and kind heart and soul. When she did the experiment of injecting determination into the flower, it was brought to life and became known as Flowey. A pure evil, soulless, merciless plant character that kills for fun. And the final boss on the true pacifist route is Azrael himself, when Flowey absorbs every soul from every monster, using the power of the 6 human souls from Asgore in order to form back into his normal body. But this time, he forms into a being of hell-bent destruction, all because he wants to reset the timeline and make everyone forget everything, so that you cannot have the happy ending that he never got the chance to have. And he can't really control himself because he has forgotten compassion for being a flower for so long. And your job is to save him after when you save all of your friends you've met in the game from the souls that Azrael stole and absorbed. And after when you do that, he returns back to normal. The cute little goat child. Sad of all the things that he has done. Has hurt so many people. Who wouldn't select comfort anyway? Who wouldn't feel sorry for a character that can't control oneself for all the fate that they cast upon that they didn't want to do because of their lifeless nature? I sure as hell would! And you must be some cruel, heartless human being if you'd say otherwise. And do you want to know the sad part? Azrael will always be an evil flower. He'll always be known as Flowey. And there's nothing he can do to change that. It's hopeless. His goat form is only temporary. He's literally dead on the inside. I just feel so sorry for Alphys. She only tried to help, but only made things worse. And those mistakes that she's made, unfortunately, cannot be fixed. When you enter the true lab, you'll find out that the truth will hurt. And people still hate this game for the fan base. Foolish. It's been 20 years ever since the introduction of Pokemon. Ever since the original Game Boy, it continued to rise in popularity ever since Red and Blue. And it all started when we were young kids. Over the years, the generations evolved, and so did we. With a total of 7 generations and over 800 species of Pokemon, with new mechanics, battle styles, stories, Team villains bent on destroying the world. Except for one, but they're still cool. It makes me happy of how far we've come ever since we began our journey as a Pokemon trainer. Now that Ultra Sun and Moon is on its way, well, was anyway, and after seeing that surprisingly dark yet epic trailer, I'm curious as to what we'll see in this new sequel that is disappointing for some. Some people were disappointed in the last game, Pokemon Black and White 2. And I kind of failed to understand why, because Gen 5 had a very great story with a character by the name of N, who had a fantastic development in character throughout the game. And Team Plasma is not yet done with their goal of separating Pokemon from humans. Meanwhile, Ghetsis just wants to rule the world by taking control over a fusion of Kyurem and either Reshiram or Zekrom, depending on what game you chose. But I'm not going to talk about my love for Gen 5 and talk about the plot. That doesn't matter. If you remember Lavender Town from Gold and Crystal, you'll know where I'm going with this one. However, Lavender Town is only scary for the infamous creepypasta, Lavender Town Syndrome. So there's really nothing disturbing about it other than the music and that people mourn over their deceased Pokemon in the graveyard. Sad, but not scary. 3 generations later, you'll find another creepy place known as the Old Chateau. Yes, the music is fucked up and downright unpleasant, and that there's ghost NPCs wandering around, and the fact that there's also a ghost picture with glowing red eyes that follow your movement. But it still doesn't compare to the other haunted house. And though I do find it interesting about a theory that Gardenia, the gym leader in Eterna City, reads that she lived in that house as a kid and the ghosts are her family that she killed. I know it's crazy, but I believe it, because she looks more like a prostitute than a gym leader, to be honest. And I've seen enough fan art from the anime to explain that. But anyway, the other haunted house that I'm referring to is one from the first Pokemon Generation sequel before Ultra Sun and Moon, Black 2 and White 2. And in that game has a place more freakier than Lavender Town and the Old Chateau combined. The Strange House. There's really a lot to talk about this place. Let's start with what you see. Old pieces of furniture that are twitching. Okay then. Pictures on the wall that fall off when you re-enter the room. Bayonet and Litwick as main encounters. Library books that have entries of Hypno, which is fucked up. Cresselia and Darkrai. A ghost girl speaking like as if you're witnessing the last moments of her life. And the fact that the furniture arranges itself, forcing you to examine the path that it's leading you to. Yeah, I'm not too sure about this. Don't even get me started on the music. It's composed of distorted bells, wind howling, furniture creaking, doors slowly opening, even the sound of someone's footsteps, as said by Fawful's minion. Jesus Christ, if Game Freak intended to compose this music to creep us out, they freaking nailed it with this one. Amazing work. But I'm not done with that yet. If you pay attention to the Ghost Girl's dialogue, the entry of Darkrai, and the Lunar Wing that you find, and the description of the strange house on your map reading Sad Incident, you can tell that this place has a hidden backstory. And it truly is a sad incident. Each encounter from the girl reveals parts of her dialogue. Based on how it's arranged, it doesn't appear to be accurate. It's all scrambled. First one saying, an everlasting dark dream. An endless dream of darkness. Then the second one basically says her final plea right before she dies, wondering where her family is, and then she says, in the dark dream, I heard my dad's voice. Forget about the Lunar Wing. Please stay here with me. In the third dialogue. Then, when you obtain the Lunar Wing, she suddenly appears right behind you and reveals her final dialogue. Oh, the Lunar Wing. I can't take it now, but it'll be okay. Let's fit these together. Deserted haunted house in the middle of nowhere, entries of Darkrai, the Pokemon that casts dreams onto people and Pokemon giving them nightmares, the Lunar Wing, and the chilling dialogue from the little girl explaining the sad incident that happened to the strange house. This is going to get pretty fucked up when I say this, so bear with me. It is crystal clear that she's giving the indication that she died in her sleep while having a bad nightmare. The entry of Darkrai in a book passage, the lunar wing that she had, couldn't do anything to save her. I'm not kidding when I say this. Darkrai killed her with her own subconscious fears from a nightmare she was having. Strangely enough, there's no mention about what happened to her parents or Abra. Not even the residents in Letspus Town know anything about it. God forbid, not even the wanderers inside the house don't know anything either. However, according to Fawful's minion, he says that the Darkrai basically did that to the girl on purpose because it's evil or something, I don't know. However, I disagree. I believe that Darkrai is a normal Pokemon that deserves better. Sure, it might have the unusual and mysterious behavior of putting creatures to sleep, but tormenting a little girl to death with nightmares is a bit too extreme to believe for it doing it on purpose. Rather, on accident. Remember the little boy not waking up in his bed back at Gen 4? And that Darkrai is found in an island not too far away from the city? My guess is that Darkrai felt regret of killing the little girl in her sleep, and so it hid itself in that island to try and not cause trouble anymore. And before it did, it ended up doing it again by putting the little boy in a state of nightmares originally to just kindly approach him. Realizing that it messed up again, it ran away to the island, never to hurt anyone again. My guess is that Darkrai simply cannot control its power. It's all natural. It can't help it. Sadly, it was the cause of the sad incident in the strange house. Even after the passing of the little girl, Darkrai did nothing wrong. I know that it sounds kind of odd having a theory like this coming out of my mouth, but if we're being honest, is Darkrai truly an evil Pokemon? Or just a saint like all the others? I think it is. What about you? Way back when I was still in school, in my mid-teenage years, I was a huge fan of insects. Whenever there was one more than an inch long, I always was curious to examine and analyze what species it is. I still have a collection of dead carcasses of them stored in my wooden box in my room, as well as an empty can of fried onions filled with cicada exoskeletons. Hey, I know it sounds gross, but insects really fascinates me a whole lot. I even wanted to become an entomologist at one point, but sadly, I gave up on that idea because I couldn't exactly decide what I wanted to do. Not to mention that a lot of math was involved, which I suck ass at, and that it requires like 7 years worth of college. Yeah, there was no way I'd do that. I'll just stick with the knowledge that I already know and live with it for once. Speaking of insects, the Pikmin series is a series that I really liked that everything related to nature and insect knowledge, as well as a database about it in the second game. Fuck it, you all know where I'm going with this one! I'm sorry, but it's painfully obvious of why I put this fucking place on the spot of this list. And it utterly and respectfully deserves it. I hate the submerged castle. And even though I said that I enjoy the dark and disturbing in video games, guess fucking what? Definitely not here! Where do I even begin with this shit? This level is fucked up in so many ways. For starters, the entrance is completely submerged underwater, meaning only blue Pikmin are allowed to enter. Every hazard is present from fire, electricity, to poison, the fucking nightmare fuel music with moaning in the background, and last but not least, the steamroller riding flubber reject that is literally the sole reason of what makes this place terrifying in the first place. The Water Wraith is a bubble humanoid creature that uses cylindrically shaped stones to run over and instantly kill your Pikmin, as well as every enemy that it comes across. And the worst part about it is that it cannot be killed. You can only run away from it. Seriously, my heart runs a marathon every time when I try to salvage every piece of treasure on the floor before the damn thing arrives. And if you haven't acquired the item for Man at Legs, which brightens up caves, it'll make entering this nightmare an even more horrifying experience. And according to its Piclopedia entry, all that is said about the Water Wraith is that it is known to cause fear to new explorers who encounter it. Damn straight, Olimar! Also that you can have a seizure if you eat one of these things. Louie's weird anyway. The idea of trying to collect every piece of treasure, not knowing when it's going to arrive, makes the experience really fucking terrifying for me. And I always get a mini heart attack when the screen suddenly fades to black, realizing that it's only Pikmin placing the treasure in the ship, when I originally expected the cutscene of the Water Wraith appearing. Yeah, I'm that terrified. Way back when I made this channel, I discovered a glitch where the Water Wraith actually got stuck in a tunnel passage. I got lucky because I was close to dying that time. And you better pray to the Lord himself that something like that will occur, because it makes going through one sublevel less more torturous and more easier. And for real, the sublevels is nothing but a big fuck you. The middle finger gets more bigger the further you go. The first one is filled with fire hazards, as well as a fiery bull black that has eaten a piece of treasure, requiring you to lure it into the water in order to get it. And the second sublevel now has breakable walls to deal with. The holes to the next floor are now blocked by stone, making you not have a clean escape, Bulbmen, which are useful, a Carini Drigibug, Dweevils on top of a pipe structure, only to waste your time by putting treasure that you're carrying onto their backs, which really pisses me off. The third level is filled with electric traps, node beetles, more walls blocking your way, withering blowhogs to blow off your Pikmin flowers back into leaves, making them run slower, and a rather useless ivory candy pop bud to create white Pikmin. Yeah, last thing I need is to deal with Pikmin that aren't waterproof anymore. Screw that! I got Bulbmen to take care of everything for me. Besides, fourth sublevel has toxic fumes as well as 2 Bulbmen. But this sublevel is the absolute worst, because the dungeon layout is more crowded and closed in with steep hills, elevation, and even more dark-colored walls to break down. Not only that, but there are more Carini Drigibugs, falling bomb rocks, and volatile Dweevils only set down on top of you to waste even more of your time. For fuck's sake, just let me make my life easier for once and not have my time wasted recovering every cookie, custards, and deviled ham with all these goddamn traps in my way. Just get me out of here already. Hell, they even place a water geyser in the first sublevel to make you escape immediately if you're not brave enough to endure this pit of pure torture. Thankfully though, the final floor is a giant breathing room, because now you can fight one of these fuckers thanks to the purple Pikmin, which is their weakness. Guess they're too scared of their immense power or something. I mean, can you blame me? Once the Water Wraith is defeated, you'll be rewarded with probably the most useful item in the entire game. The Pluckaphone is an item that pulls out Pikmin from the ground by simply blowing a whistle on them. Awesome! But why the fuck is it here of all places? High risk, high reward kind of thing? I'd rather face a swarm of bull bears than enter the submerged castle, honestly. To tell you the truth though, when I first saw the Water Wraith, I wasn't in the submerged castle. I was in the bully den, which is a challenge level. And I wasn't scared of them either. I was confused what the hell I was looking at. Somewhat interested even. I had purple Pikmin with me anyway, so yeah. When I first entered the submerged castle, however, by hearing the music, every view I had changed. Hell, there was at one point where I was excited to encounter the Water Wraith. Oh sweet, I get to see the Water Wraith in the game for once. This ought to be good. Words of instant regret that day. Because when I saw the ship's dialogue going batshit alarming, I had no idea what the hell I was about to be up against because my stupid ass mind didn't know what futile meant back then. Not even the triple danger bulleted red that he shoved on my face got my attention either. It was when I threw a blue Pikmin at it and seeing it slide right off of it doing nothing is when I knew. I went from curious and fascinated to 0% excitement and 100% fear. Even if it is really useful, the Pluckaphone is the hardest item to get in the game for me. Would you like to know why? It's because I'm too fucking terrified to enter this stupid place. Seriously, after all the shit that I throw on this nightmare of a level, and why I'm scared of it so much, I have one more thing to say. The submerged castle has traumatized me so bad that I legit have not even touched Pikmin 2 for more than 6 long years. I really love this game. I really do. It's a really fun and great game, don't get me wrong. But sadly, and I know this sounds too stupid to some of you watching this level is preventing me from ever playing this game again. And maybe I will again someday. Who knows? Only time will tell. Maybe I'll actually grow a pair and start to realize that it's not that bad. I'll face my fears and possibly make a let's play of it so you can see and hear my reaction. But for now, I refuse to play Pikmin 2 all because of the submerged castle. End of discussion. Glad that is over with. Now I can finally continue on with this countdown. Okay, let's see here. What's next? Oh, God. Can I, leave now, please? No? I have to finish it? Here we are, back in the Metroid series, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be one hell of a ride. The one and only GFS Valhalla. A completely destroyed Galactic Federation flagship far away in the Klar Nebula that was attacked by space pirates 5 months ago during a training mission. And that seemed to be the perfect opportunity for them to strike. After when you exit out of the cold area in Brio, you receive a transmission from Aurora Unit 242 stating that the Galactic Federation on the Olympus has found the Valhalla and asks you to go investigate. When you arrive, you can already tell that something went horribly wrong. The entire place is deserted and floating in the deepest parts of space. All devices and doors that are powered by energy cells are offline, and the cells are scattered everywhere in each planet in the game. And the overall horrifying music that plays when you arrive is enough to terrify me to not enter this place until the very end when you obtain all energy cells. There was a time where I was once scared to death of this place, all because of the music. At first I thought that this was the GFS Olympus because of the similar appearances that it has. And I was freaking out because I thought that the Olympus has been wrecked. To be fair, I was like 12 when I first played this game. And I hardly paid any attention to what was going on because I was still being educated. Yeah, enough said there. And the thing that really creeps me out the most is the corpses of pirates and Galactic Federation soldiers with pretty fucked up backstory of how they died. Especially the soldiers in front of an operable door. From a distance I thought for sure that they were still alive and looked like they were working on the door because it was broken or something. That is, until I took a closer look and noticed they were dark gray in color and disintegrated when I shot at them. Yeah, that's totally pleasant. And the way that they were posed looked like they were desperate to escape their attackers. Because this one right here was in a big hurry trying to open the door because he was being uncooperative. And this one right here has his hands covering his face like he was trying to shake something off. And the scan visor reads that they had their life energy completely drained. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of a Metroid. It'll latch onto your head, completely eating away your precious life energy until you die on the spot, becoming nothing but a brittle husk. And that's exactly what happened to these soldiers. And I'm hesitating to find out of what else there is. Broken power cords, screens with error messages, and sudden jump scares when you open a door that has a room with zero gravity. Those damn doors still get me every time when I open them. And since they sometimes take an eternity to open, it's hard to see it coming. Not to mention that the ships sometimes make a loud creaking noise when you're on it. Jeez. There's also Phazon grubs, phasing, liquid Phazon, Phazon hoppers, Phazon metroids, and a Metroid Hatcher mini-boss. Quite honestly, there's nothing really threatening about the Valhalla enemy-wise. Rather, it's the destruction of the Valhalla itself. Because Dark Samus is now more powerful by absorbing all of the pirates' supply of Phazon, uses it to infect you and the other hunters that will overpower you and, in time, make you fall against her own will and now become a part of her army to spread Leviathan seeds onto other planets and corrupt the entire galaxy to only increase her power even more. And she attacked the Valhalla by controlling an army of brainwashed space pirates to steal its Aurora unit and use it in planet Phase, the source of all Phazon, and what has caused and started the whole massacre in the first place since the first Metroid Prime, launching more Leviathans to other planets and plan to rule the entire galaxy. And the GFS Valhalla is literally one big warning sign. All of the damage that you witness, all of the destruction and fatalities seen inside is all nothing but the game telling you of what you are truly up against. Your dark twin, your own shadow, has gotten more powerful than ever before. And every step that you take, every minute, the Phazon coursing through your body is slowly starting to take control of yourself. Here in the Metroid universe, you are never safe. Darkness is always coming from every corner, watching, waiting at any moment to end your life. It was kind of a hard decision between this and Dark Aether, but Dark Aether didn't really have that much of an impact on me. In fact, I had no negative impact at all. I actually really like it because of how well made and executed the entire concept was. Stay awesome, Dark Aether. Meanwhile, the GFS Valhalla takes the spot on this list because of the climax in Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, building up to what's happening, why it happened, and what you can do to end it once and for all before the Phazon in your body takes your life away. And enduring everything you've come across in your lethal missions to do whatever it takes, and how much power and weapons you have in your arsenal to save the galaxy from impending doom and apocalyptic destruction. God, I love this series so much.
4 months ago, the GFS Valhalla went missing while on a training mission in the Klar Nebula. The ship's logs revealed that they were attacked by a space pirate raiding vessel.
What is the logic in disrupting a Federation training mission?
They're pirates. How could they resist a prize like that?
That never would have happened if I'd been there.
Then it's a shame you weren't.
It really is a shame, Rundus. Rest in peace, my friend. Rest in peace. Wait a minute. How could I forget this?
Data log entry 2467.3. This will be the last communication of the GFS Valhalla. Our efforts to repel the space pirate boarding force have failed. They have successfully removed the primary mounting structure around our stasis tank. It is obvious now that they intend to extract us from the Valhalla. It is vital that the Federation receive this transmission, severing main power. A large bioform is creating a wormhole, implant into sentient planet which is the source of all Phazon. Darkness coming.
Can we please go to number 1 now? I'm getting kind of freaked out by this. For number 1 on this list is a level that is so scary that it'll leave you in tears, running for your life. A level that is so creepy that it is great. So great even that it happens completely out of the blue and so unexpected it changes the plot immensely. A level that is home to my second favorite game of all time, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Darkness, Time, and Sky. I first grew up playing Darkness as a kid back when I was getting into the series of Pokemon. And in my opinion, the Mystery Dungeon series ranks supreme over the original series, despite it being a spin-off. Though a great one, with by far the greatest story I've ever heard in any video game in my entire life. It has plot twists so shocking that it made my jaw drop so far to the floor, it sent chills up my spine. All of you Mystery Dungeon fans know where I'm going with this. Yes, number 1 for top 10 disturbing levels in non-horror related games is the future. The first thing that came to my mind was, what happened to this game? Everything that was once a happy, cheerful, carefree environment with charming atmosphere suddenly turns into a world of never-ending darkness and despair. And the music is just so unwelcoming. Whenever I think of the future, I picture an advanced world of evolved technology. Things like flying cars and teleporters. Not a world where all movement is stopped. For those of you that are curious to know the story, let me explain in every way that I can. In this game, you are a human being that is suddenly turned into a Pokemon that has lost your memory. Over time throughout your adventure as an exploration team with a Pokemon that you befriend to become your partner, you soon realize that a thief is out stealing the time gears. Gears that keep time in its given area in balance, and once those time gears are removed, all movement in that area ceases. You then learn that the culprit behind this is a Pokemon named Grovyle, and I'll be getting to him later. He's important, because his reason for stealing the time gears is reasonable. A few chapters ahead, a Pokemon by the name of Dusknoir, a ghost type, mysteriously arrives at the guild, who Loudred claims is a Pokemon celebrity that gained popularity and became widely known for his remarkable amount of knowledge that he knows almost all of the Pokemon world. And that popularity began in a matter of days. That sounds pretty suspicious. He seems to be a kind and caring Pokemon at first, but that suddenly changes when he overhears your partner mentioning your unusual power of having visions of the past and the future by touching something that's somehow connected to it. Dusknoir claims to know of that power and says it's known as the Dimensional Scream, which is something only a human can wield. Discovering that you're a human, he then asks your name, and by the looks of his mugshot, he's no doubt hiding something. Then a meeting in Town Square takes place where Dusknoir explains the truth. In short, he and Grovyle are Pokemon that have come from the future, and that Dusknoir did so to search for Grovyle to prevent him from stealing the time gears that would cause an apocalyptic event called the planet's paralysis, a state of where all time in the world stops. No winds blow. The sun never rises. Neither summer nor spring ever comes. It is a world of unrelenting darkness. It would be of no exaggeration to call it the complete ruin of the world, as quoted by Dusk Noir. Then, Dusk Noir finally captures Grovile and takes him back to the future, and everything is saved. Until the unthinkable happens. Out of freaking nowhere, Dusk Noir grabs you and your partner and drags you into the portal, leading to the future in front of everyone. You then regain consciousness in what appears to be a prison cell. A group of Sableye appears and takes you and ties you up against a pillar next to Grovile for execution. And Dusk Noir, who seemed to be the good guy, turns out to be the villain all along. He lied to you. He deceived you all along. Nothing makes sense. Why is this happening? Why does he want to literally kill you? Who should you trust? What do you do? What is going on? This level is all one big conflict. So much is going on. A friend is now the enemy. You're trapped in a world of where the planet's paralysis has taken its place. You're teaming up with a thief who stole the time gears. You're literally running away from death, trying to survive, with so many unanswered questions swirling through your mind. Well, it turns out that it's the exact opposite of what Dusk Noir told you. Dusk Noir came to the Pokemon world to search for Grovile to prevent him from preventing the planet's paralysis by stealing the time gears and placing them back to Temporal Tower, which is an ancient place not widely known that is the main source of keeping the entire world's time in balance, which is in danger of collapsing because the time gears are not in its rightful place. And as a result, in the future, the planet's paralysis has already happened because of Temporal Tower's downfall. And Dialga, the leader of time and the guardian of the tower, lost his self-consciousness due to time stopping and lost his will and is now a god of destruction known as Primal Dialga. And all of this is soon going to happen in your world, and you have little time left. And Dusk Noir only brought you here to waste your time and prevent you from ever stopping the apocalypse by ending your life. And hold on, I'm not done yet, there's more. Right when you're about to exit the future, by Celebi guiding you to the passage of time, you end up surrounded by Dusk Noir and his underlings, and Primal Dialga. With no other means of escape, Grovile gives up. However, before he does, another shocking plot twist comes out that is so unexpected that I have no words to describe it. To everyone's surprise, Grovile had an ally to aid his quest of the planet's paralysis. He had a partner who was human. They became separated when they took the passage of time. Grovile's ally was you. You were his partner to prevent the apocalypse. But he didn't know that after he turned into a Pokemon because you woke up with amnesia. But you still knew who you were. And Grovile was shocked beyond belief that his partner was with him all this time. And Dusk Noir knew all along. He not only went to the Pokemon world to search for him, but to search for the same human that has turned into a Pokemon. And at the beach where he told him your name and your Dimensional Scream ability, it all becomes full circle. At the end of the day, in the future, there is always bound to be something scary. To expect the unexpected. It's not something what you think is going to happen. It all adds up to what you decide to make it happen. It is your goal to do what's right for yourself and for the rest of the world, to change history and do whatever it takes to make it right. Because in this future, a world where everything is in darkness, death roaming around in every corner with no idea who to trust or what to believe, foreshadows what your future is soon going to be if you do not make the right choice. The important thing is not how long you live, it's what you accomplish with your life. In conclusion, the future can be a really, really scary place, and the future in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, Darkness, and Sky truly is the most disturbing level in non-horror video games, in my opinion anyway. This has been GBA049, signing out, going offline, and I am so sorry that this video is really late and that I originally planned it to be one big video scheduled to release on Halloween. Better late than never, I guess. But anyway, regardless of what day or time of year or what month you're watching this, thanks for watching. Oh, before I leave, I have one last thing to say. IGN, you fucking missed out. Thanks for watching.
Huh? Oh no. It's happening again. It's...
I think that's the last treasure. And I think we've gone without setting off what it is I am so afraid of. I just had to open my mouth! I just had to say it!